On a June day in 1975, Darlene Zetterower and Barbara Schreiber, a pair of inseparable best friends, walked on a street in Hollywood. The 14-year-old girls got into a white van and vanished. They were found murdered on the edge of the Everglades the next day. BSO's Open and Unsolved first brought you this story 2 years ago. Detectives had a possible suspect and believed there was another. Now, after advancements in DNA testing, new details from witnesses, and solid police work, the Broward Sheriff's Office Cold Case Homicide Unit can announce that the murders of Barbara Schreiber and Darlene Zetterower have finally been solved. It's a relief for BSO Detective Andrew Gianino and for the victims' families.
It was incredible. The families really appreciated all of the hard work put together by our team.
I'm thankful for this, finally getting answers that I didn't know.
Kimberly Schreiber remembers her big sister Barbara and Barbara's best friend Darlene playing with her and her siblings.
She'd always put me and my little brother on top of the car, play music, and dance with her friends. They were very close. They were best friends. She was always over. To me, it was innocent. It was them having fun.
But those fun and innocent days ended on June 18, 1975. That day, Barbara and Darlene were walking in Hollywood near Sterling Road, possibly hitchhiking, and got into a white van. They were never seen alive again. The following day, their bodies were discovered in a then remote area on the edge of the Everglades off US 27. The girls had been sexually assaulted and shot.
It's sad. I mean, two 14-year-old girls to be murdered in such a way, it's just sad. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. Senseless, actually.
The grief for the families was overwhelming.
It devastated us. It broke up the marriage. My mom blamed my dad blamed my mom for many years.
The pain of losing a child and a sibling in such a violent manner and not knowing who committed the crime took a toll on all of them.
Oh, she could have been anything. She was smart. She was kind, beautiful.
For decades, the question of who took these lives went unanswered. DNA testing would change that.
The case had been investigated by a number of cold case detectives over the years. This particular success was due to the science advancements in DNA and due to Detective Robert Caceres and his application of new technology to evidence that we had had since 1975.
BSO Crime Lab detective Roberto Caceres tested the girls' clothing and separated DNA from the clothing fibers. The DNA of a man named Robert Clark Keebler was discovered on the clothing. Further DNA testing revealed the partial profile of another man on the clothing, his name, Lawrence Stein. Detectives compared the DNA to a relative of Stein's.
And in doing so, 18 months after the original partial profile, we were able to positively identify Lawrence Stein as being the second defendant involved in these murders.
Investigative work done by Detective Gianino further solidified the case against Keebler and Stein. For instance, Gianino learned from multiple sources that Keebler drove a white van during that time period. He also learned that Keebler and Stein were involved in other similar crimes.
We pick up Keebler and Stein's history dating back to about 1972, when they were involved in a series of robberies and burglaries, ultimately an abduction from the city of Plantation, where they abducted two young girls. From everything that we were able to detect, that they were committing a lifelong series of crimes from Florida to California, multi-state offenders, very violent individuals.
Both Keebler and Stein are dead. Neither will stand trial for the crimes in a court of law. Now, the case is considered closed.
The case was filed with the state's attorney's office for prosecution, as though the defendants were alive. However, the defendants had died some years ago. The prosecuting attorney agreed with our assessment that if they were alive, they would be criminally prosecuted for these homicides.
Kimberly Schreiber knows her parents and her brother, although they're deceased, would be grateful that this mystery has finally been solved and that Barbara and Darlene can rest in peace.
And they'd be so happy that somebody didn't give up, and that your team didn't give up, and Detective Andrew didn't give up.
The evidence that we have has been sealed since 1975, and today we're going to be returning a cross that Barbara wore at the time of her death and a ring that she had and was wearing at the time of her death. This is going to mean the world to her. It's that connection, the nexus to her sister.
One day earlier this year, Detective Gianino traveled to Kimberly's home to make a delivery decades in the making.
Good, how are you?
Holding up.
I'm good.
On a couch in Kimberly's apartment, Detective Gianino opened an envelope containing Barbara's jewelry that she was wearing when she was murdered. With great care, he placed the items in her hand.
So that was the cross that she was wearing and the ring that she wore.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
It's beautiful. And thank you so much.
A cross and a ring that her big sister wore. It was as if a piece of her sister returned to her. For Detective Gianino, it was a small gesture, but one with a large and lasting impact.
Cold case detectives, we give of ourselves in order to have these types of outcomes. And it means the world to us.